I have a crazy story, and going back to my relationship with B1, something I doubt that's ever going to be happen for me is a marriage. I don't think that's in the cards for us. At this point, I don't know. Who knows? I don't think that's something she even wants or knows what. I don't think she knows what the hell she wants, to be quite honest with you. So, until then, who knows? Um, but I do have a crazy story about a couple. Um, is an Indonesian man, and he's going by AK. I don't actually have his actual name, but he goes by AK. Um, AK met his spouse, 26-year-old woman, known as Dinda. All right. So we got AK and Adinda. They met on Instagram in 2023 and they started dating in person for about a year. And I apologize that I'm all leaned over because I'm kind of reading the details of the story because there's a lot of weird names and cities and stuff like that. So, um, AK and Adinda, after hanging out on Instagram, they meet in person and they date for about a year. This was in, like I said, it's in Indonesia, so there's all kinds of weird names like the Wangan Jaya village and Cianjur and stuff like that. So kind of crazy. Now, the thing about Adinda, AK's girlfriend, is that she wore a traditional Muslim niqab that covered her entire face, which, okay, AK said, okay. AK was okay with the covered face because he said, all right, well, it's a sign that she's very devoted to Islam. So, and he appreciated that about her. So AK was okay with her wearing the niqab, however you fucking say that. I always thought it was called a burqa or whatever, but I guess it's called a niqab now. So after dating for a year, AK and Dinda decided they were going to get married. They decided to go for a little small ceremony at AK's home. And the reason they had to do it at AK's home is because Adinda no longer had any family, saying her mother had died and that her mother died and that her father had run away. So Adinda was alone, had nowhere to marry, no family, nothing. So AK's family said, okay, let's do this wedding ceremony at our house. Now, there was apparently the ceremony went okay. I guess they got married, it was okay. But after they tied the knot on April 12th, um, he started to get a little concerned that something might be up. Um, she constantly was having lady issues that were preventing her from being intimate with AK. She would tell him that she was on her period or feeling unwell. So AK kind of went to talk to his family about it. And his family admitted out loud, they said, you know what? We're actually a little bit suspicious of Adinda because, when she comes over, she's always got her face covered and she really doesn't say much. Um, in fact, she's got a veil on. And then Adinda said, we need a marriage guardian. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, but the family was suspicious about it. Adinda said she needed that marriage guardian on the grounds that her mother had died and her father had gone somewhere and had been living alone in this Sidoan subdistrict, whatever the hell that meant. So, AK, after talking to his parents and finding out Adinda, that they're kind of suspicious of Adinda being something off about her, AK says, you know what? I'm going to go back to this area that she says she's from. And I'm going to go to her old address, and I'm going to look into her a little bit. So 12 days after the wedding, he tracked down her former address. And when he got there, he found her parents living there, alive and well. Very confused about the whole situation. He tells them the story of marrying their daughter, Adinda. And Adinda's parents revealed that, well, AK, we have good news and bad news for you. The good news is we're very happy for you that you're married. Bad news is your wife is a man. His name is Eric. He's been cross-dressing since 2020. Um, They said they didn't know their son was in a relationship, let alone married. Um, so apparently, I do have a picture of their wedding photo here, so you can actually see. She had, or he, now Eric. This is with the veil off, so you can actually see how this guy could. It looks like a woman to me. I got to be honest with you. That looks like a woman. I could see how this guy would be fooled. But I believe that, like I said, in Indonesia, it's not legal to do this. And so they got the police involved. And Eric was arrested. And here is the mugshot of Eric. This is some guy's wife. Now, I got to be honest with you here. I don't believe, let's just be honest here. This guy obviously gives some pretty good head, right? I mean, this guy must use no hands at all, is just down there straight going to town like a fucking boss. Because if they haven't been intimate, they dated for a year. Even if they didn't have sex, I'm sure that old Adinda was going down on old AK there. So imagine you date somebody for a year, you think they're a devout Muslim and they don't show their face, but at night, lights are off, you maybe talk her into, lifting up that veil, and then you get a little, you know what I'm saying? And then after a year of that, when you're all excited to finally, because I know when I'm getting one of those, every time I'm like, come on, why don't you just jump on? Come on, why don't you just jump on? Like almost every time. There's times where you just want to straight beajaroo. But hey, get away from that camera. But for the most part, usually I'm always like, why don't you just jump on? Why don't you just jump on? Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't. But it's always, you get what you're looking for out of the beajaroo. So this guy finally is like, after a year, yes, I'm finally going to get some action. I'm going to get the southern tunnel. Only after getting the northern tunnel all this time, I'm finally getting the southern tunnel. I'm going to take a trip to Pound Town. I'm finally going to be the mayor of Pound Town. Then you find out that I got my period again. Can't do it. Sorry. It's not going to work out. 12 days it took him to fucking figure it out. He fucking waited a year to try to get some trim. And after 12 days, so ladies, this will give you a little insight into men here. After it took him literally, he was expecting to get laid on the day of his wedding. 12 days of not getting laid. He went so far as to track down her family, her old address in another town, to find out why this bitch isn't putting out. And he found out the worst thing you could ever find out, that it was actually a man and he was been getting blown by a dude for a year. But it also raises a really crazy question. It raises a crazy question. What if you've, while being lied to is terrible, you know what I mean? You find out you're being lied to. It's a fucking horrible feeling. Take it from me. It really sucks. Fucks with your head. But sometimes you're willing to move past stuff to try to salvage the relationship if you love someone. Now, if this guy's been with this woman or this guy for a year, was willing to get married, not just to get laid either. If it's been a year, you're waiting that long, you're probably in love with this person. So what do you do at that point when you realize you've fallen in love with a man? If you're not gay. But do you say to yourself, what's more important? Love and the relationship I've built, or being heterosexual? What's more important to me? I love this person. It just happens to turn out to be a dude. It's kind of, I know it sounds weird to even consider that question. Like if you're a super hetero straight dude, to be like, oh no, because there's a cock and balls down there, and what am I gonna do? Well, you could still pull a Donald Trump in prison and do that. But it's another dumb show. All right, hello. Welcome to another Dumb Show. I am another Dumb Show host. Thank you guys for joining me on issue number 213. So good to have you guys with me. It feels so good. It feels so right having you guys streaming on my tube. So good to have you guys all with me this evening. Bring this down a little bit. There we go. That's better. Much better. Hi guys, how you doing? What's happening? Welcome to another Dumb Show. Hey, don't forget, if you haven't hit the thumbs up on tonight's video, please take a second to do that. Hit the thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. In fact, take your thumb out of your ass, hit that thumbs up, wipe your phone off, stick your thumb back in your ear. You can always download the show as an audio only podcast. Sorry guys if I'm a little seem a little thrown off. Ooh, it looks like I'm crying. I'm not crying, I promise you. I'm a little thrown off because I went to go open the phones and my phones are all down for some reason. All my stuff for to log into the phones are not there. So I don't know what's going on, to tell you the truth. It's a little frustrating. So I am trying to get those up and running. I don't know if I'll be able to do it. I'm hoping it's what I went to go check to see if it was my like my subscription ran out or whatever, but that is not the case. So I don't know what happened here. So let's see if I can get them back up and running. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a crazy weekend, and I will talk to you guys about that as things move along. Oh, I forgot to turn that thing off. Brett saying 1, 2, 3. I don't know what that means. Is the show not working or something? Are you guys not seeing me? What's happening? I don't know why you said that. Anyway, I'm trying to get these phones up and working, and I will tell you guys about my weekend here. It was pretty eventful. I had a wedding this weekend. And I'm sorry, hold on. Let's see if that works. That is not working. Why is that not working? Why does everything have to be a pain in my ass, guys? Why does everything have to be a pain in my ass? All right, guys. Looks like the phones are going to be down unless I type something in wrong. I think they might be down for the evening. Sorry, guys. I apologize for this. It's just very frustrating that these are supposed to be working. They're not working. So, guess phones are down. So, looks like we're going with all the chat tonight. So if you have something you want to say, I encourage you guys to please get in our live chat. That's the League of Dummies over there. I'd love to have you guys hanging out in the chat with me tonight. Get your comments in, get your opinions in. Always tag me at Another Dumb Show, and I will be able to. That makes it easier for me to see your comments in there. If you want me to see what you're saying, if you're speaking directly to me, have a question, anything like that. So. All right, let's try to get back on track here. You can always follow the show. X, Instagram, at Another Dumb Show. Get in that. If you're not already a member, join up. I don't know if maybe I think the phones are supposed to be good till July. That's when I'm going to have to re-up them. So I don't know what's going on. I know it's June 1st here, but I feel like they ripped me off for a month of service. A little frustrated about it. So Get your superfan donations in because I'm definitely going to have to be renewing these phones here in a minute, and those aren't cheap. So get those in. I believe I had a comment here from a couple comments in here. I got this one comment. I mentioned to you guys the other day that the riverboat brawl video. Remember that video in Alabama where there was that guy on the boat or that guy on the dock? He got in a fight with a bunch of white people. There was a big brawl. Um, we had Black Aquaman swimming through the water to go get in a fight and help his buddy out. That video's got a ton of views after the Cat Williams live special on Netflix. He mentioned that video, and people must have just gone and started searching YouTube for that video, and for where mine must have popped up because I've gotten thousands of views on that video recently, which is really strange. And I got a comment from someone who just said, it's from Ann Blackler. Ann just wrote pig on there. Now, I don't know what I could have possibly said in that would have made me be a pig. I feel like I was actually pretty mean to the one woman, but she was fighting in there. You know what I mean? So I don't think I said any piggish things. If she would like maybe played a video of me talking about Megan Thee Stallion shaking her ass or something like that, then I could understand her calling me a pig. Otherwise, I really don't understand why she called me a pig. Tyler wants to remind you guys, just like I did, take your thumb out of your ass and hit the like button. So please do that if you haven't done it. This one's from Aaron. Now, it's a little confusing to me. I think he's telling me to watch something. So he says, hey, Dumb, this is great. I've been watching David Pakman since I got home late from work to watch his take on the Trump tile. Now, I don't know who David Pakman is. He says, Jimmy Kimmel said, Aaron goes on to say in the comment, Jimmy Kimmel said, just have Trump do community service, have him pick up trash on the side of the highway. David Pakman seemed unaware as well as the news, but Jimmy Kimmel brilliantly inserted a comedian into the crowd, the Father Teresa guy who tried to hang himself on the tree limb by a red tie. I'm usually in bed now by the time that happens. I don't really stay up for the late shows anymore. I honestly just don't like them that much either. I'm not really that into the late shows or those kind of things anymore. I'm kind of over them these days. Especially when they get super political anymore. Like especially with the diatribes about politics. If you make jokes about Trump, that's fine. But if you like start going on these political diatribes, which I believe Kimmel has in the past, kind of over it. The whole Aaron Rodgers thing, kind of over. It was kind of, I don't know. Jimmy Kimmel's kind of a baby, I think, personally. Mark is saying, speaking of politics, he says, I've been saying RFK for president. And he says hi. Tyler wants me to do some more Call of Duty shows. He said some more Call of Duty shows would be cool. Got to do Warzone, though. Multiplayer gets boring. And Jose would also like me to do some, he says, Dumb, are you still doing COD shows, Call of Duty shows, or am I missing them somehow? Nope. I just haven't done any. I've been I've been anti Call of Duty for a while. It's such a convoluted thing, but it does have to be with B1, has to do with B1. And the situation that happened around Easter time, but which I haven't delved into with you guys because I just don't think it's worth going into, but just caused me more headaches. But there is a connection to Call of Duty, and I've kind of been like, I'm kind of off over Call of Duty lately. So I don't know if I'll be playing any Call of Duty. It just kind of makes me pissed off right now when I play Call of Duty. Angelina said, did I miss where Mikey is? No, Mikey, I did mention it. Mikey is out for tonight. He is finishing up. Friday he was out because he was dealing with personal stuff or whatever last day we were on, Thursday. And tonight he has work stuff. I didn't really exactly, I think he's getting towards the, what did he say here? Something about his, I can't remember. They gave him a heavy workload. Oh, today is his last day working for the week. So they loaded him up with work. So I don't know. Is he going on vacation or something or what? I don't know because he's coming into town next week. Or no. A little over a week and a half. He's coming in next Friday, the 14th, because we're going to go see a comic named Cam Patterson. So, um, I don't know if he's going on break or if he's taking a little vacay. Before that, if he mentioned it, I don't remember him saying that. So, he is on. He's off tonight because he's got to work. They gave him a big workload, so I don't know if he's still working or just finished late and just was tired. But I think he said he might pop on if he's up for it. But I think he had to work late, and I know his favorite podcast is on tonight, so he might be watching that. So again, Mikey is not an employee. Mikey does this out of the kindness of his heart, and he has a good time doing it. So I don't really sweat him if he needs the night off. So I mentioned I had kind of a crazy weekend the past couple of days. Um, it's weird. I've actually so I have a my car. I have a 2013 Honda CRV. It's a great car. I fucking love it. It's got like 135,000 miles on it or something like that. So for a Honda, that's relatively low mileage, believe it or not. No, you can still get, you can get 253 out of a good Honda if you take good care of it. So, um, and it's a great car because I use it for it's surprisingly, like, people see those and you think they're kind of small SUVs. I can actually fit my entire DJ system and most of the photo booth. I can actually fit the whole photo booth in there, except if I need like props, I run out of room. So if I wanted to strap um, a tub to the top of my car full of props or whatever, I could do that, but that's a pain in the ass. So usually there's two people anyway, so we do it as a team. But so um, I could fit a lot of shit. I fit my whole DJ system in there. So I use that car for DJing when I go to my events. So I had an event on Saturday night. Really nice couple, interracial couple, which is cool because I don't do a lot of those. Which is so there was a little bit more African American black music mixed in, which is cool. Like, when I say African American, I genuinely mean African American, because the bride's dad, I, I'm now I'm being loose with African, and I'm saying African because the name looked like it was an African name to me, and and he came wearing full, like, looked like what, like, Nigerian garb, like, I don't know if it's Nigerian, but African. I'm saying Nigerian, I think, because of Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa. He wears like traditional clothes to the Browns game. Here's a perfect example. Here we go. He's a player for the Browns. He wears traditional African outfits to the games. So how about one that isn't like hold on one sec. That one's all blurry. Here's a better one. So I can't zoom in on it. So there you go. So there's that. The father of the bride was wearing something very similar to that that night. So it was pretty cool to see him out there doing all that stuff. So when I say there was some African music mixed in, they danced to a song that was in like another language. I don't know what language it was. So again, sounded like some sort of African language to me. So I just rolled with it. But it was neat because they had some special requests in there that were some like Afro beats music. So that was kind of neat. To have a different stuff to kind of pepper in there. And I got to tell you, I fucking kicked that wedding's ass. It was awesome. But it was an interesting group though. Like, they were, sometimes you do too good at a wedding. It's frustrating. Like, I've done this, like you have to, like, you can't just do banger 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 a lot of times, because what happens is you literally tire people out. You usually they have like 3 or 3.5 hours to dance after dinner, depending on the wedding length or whatever. So I could fill it with, just bangers for pretty much 3 straight hours, but you got to do, I'm not saying bad songs, but songs that everybody likes, that might not just be like the Usher, like the songs that are just everybody wants to hear and are my biggest requested songs. Like, so you got to kind of pepper those in and space it out with other stuff a little bit, to kind of give them a chance to, maybe have a song they don't like, or that's just one that they don't want to dance to, where they can go get a drink or something like that. I know it sounds ridiculous because you want to keep the dance floor full all the time, but I do. But I have to keep in mind the demographic of the room changes all the time. Not well, I mean not all the time. Once it's set, that's what it. But the dance floor demographic changes. So if I notice there aren't a group of people dancing, either older or younger races, whatever, I will try to switch it up a little bit to try to pepper them in a little bit to where I won't lose what's out there. Kind of a whole weird formula. It's part of being a DJ. But so in this case, I actually I went too fast with the bangers. I went too because it was a mixed race crowd and a lot of big different age groups for the races too. It was really a unique dynamic to where it filled the dance floor was super full, and then all of a sudden towards like the end of the night it just went, which was really weird. It's usually kind of a steady, like you get a really good ramp up, and then you kind of get one of these, and then it starts to trickle off as people go home towards the end of the night. That's how every wedding goes. This one was like, and we hit a certain time, and it just went. So I don't know if there was a shuttle that somebody didn't tell me about or something, and then just like all these people left and got on the shuttles or something, but because that'll happen in some cases. But it was really strange. But the people who stayed, they bumped out the rest of the night. They had a lot of fun. So it was a smaller group, but then it kind of changed the dynamic of what was getting played. And it was actually it was an awesome time. I killed that wedding. I was very proud of myself. My up lights looked great. Dance floor lights looked great. It was really good. I had kind of the people at the hall were kind of, stern is the way the groom described them to me. But I don't know. They're a little bit older ladies, kind of set in their ways. And I came in with my schedule, which is kind of what I use it. And I do lots of different schedules for events, but I go to all these different weddings, and I usually do it based on the hall. And in this case, they hadn't given me a schedule, so I completely made the schedule up on my own, and it was a very normal schedule. There's nothing abnormal about it. And then the hall we did a phone call with the hall, just to kind of go over the details with them, and they're like, she was acting like it was the craziest schedule she'd ever seen. And the schedule that she presented to me was the craziest schedule I'd ever seen. So I didn't know what was going on. It was very strange. But in the end, they ended up defaulting to my schedule, which is great. So it worked out perfectly because everything flowed perfectly through dinner and the dances. It was fucking great. Now, I brought up my car earlier. Now, you're probably wondering, why is he talking about his car? So, my 2013 Honda CRV. I use it to I bring my DJ equipment with it. I pull it up. When I get to the place, I park, turn the car off, put the hazards on, go inside, make sure that I'm cool where I'm parked, make sure the door I'm supposed to unload in is all the same from where we went over, because sometimes it changes, blah, 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 blah. So I get the instructions where I'm going to go once I set up, and where I'm going to set up inside. So I go back out to the car and I unload the whole car. Unload it. The car is off to a spot where it's not really blocking any traffic or spots, and it's kind of just, chilling by a sidewalk. So I can leave it there while I actually set up all the equipment. Well, I get everything all set up. It's kind of an extensive setup because there's no power next to where the speakers are, and all my speakers, I have 4 speakers that I use for events, and when I use those 4 speakers, they all need power, so I need 4 plugs. No power anywhere near where these speakers are, so I had to run extension cords from the speakers. I had to run a splitter from the speaker, or like a T. Anyway, boring ass setup stuff. It just took forever, lots and lots of cords to run. So then I realized by the time I was done setting up, I was like, gosh, my car's been sitting out there for a while. I got to get that thing moved real quick before all the guests start arriving. So I had already changed when I go to set up for my events, I usually wear the dress pants I'm going to wear, and then a t-shirt, like one of those breathable Nike t-shirts, so I can work and sweat and not be too hot or whatever, especially if it's outside. And then I bring a dress shirt with me, and I put that, or like an undershirt and a dress shirt, and I put that on before the event starts. So I'd already changed into that. Realized I needed to move my car, run outside, get in my car, put the key in, just won't start. And this has happened once before where I thought that was maybe like my starter was starting to go, because one time B1 and I went out to breakfast, and then after breakfast we got in my car, and I kind of quickly turned my key. I was like, I don't know, I was BSing and I wasn't really paying attention, and so I didn't really. I'm not sure if I didn't turn it all the way enough or my battery didn't work. It was like a brrr, and it didn't start. And then I did it a couple more times and it didn't start. And then all of a sudden it turned over. So I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe my car's older. Maybe the starter's starting to go. So I get to back to my event. I get in the car. It won't start. While it's in a spot that's not blocking anything while there's no guests. Once the guests start arriving, it's just this random car sitting in front of the venue, and it just looks ridiculous. So I'm like mildly panicking at this point because my car is dead. I don't know if it's the starter, the battery, or what. So, or if it's my alternator has died, or I don't, it's one of those three things. If your car just seems like it's dead, fuck. So I'm like, oh, I want to dress clothes. The event's gonna start in 15 minutes. I was ahead of time, thankfully. So I had to get in my car, put this motherfucker in neutral, in these fucking dress clothes, and Fred Flintstone this motherfucker, and I'm holding on to the thing with one hand and using my left foot to push and try to get the car to get going. Thankfully, there was just enough of a decline that I got it to roll a little bit, and I rolled it into a parking spot, even though it ended up being all fucking crooked and weird in the spot. So that was really embarrassing. Got back into the event. I'm sweating my ass off. I literally had to go back behind the DJ booth and get I had my clipboard, and I'm like fanning myself off, trying to get myself to cool off, because it wasn't like super air conditioned in there. It was a little warm as it was. So I'm fucking freaking out. Finally get everything cooled off. I performed the wedding without a hitch. I call B1 I don't know, like 8, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to try my car when I'm done around 11. The event ended at 11:30. I said, I'm going to try my car around 11. And I think if sometimes it will start again. So we'll see if it starts. I'll let you know if it starts. So I go outside at 11. When I put a longer song on, I run outside, go to start the car. Sure enough, it does not start. So I say, oh, it's no big deal. I'll go just get my jumper cables out of the back of my car and have B1 come and jump me. Well, I go to get my jumper cables out of the back of my car, and they're gone. They are not in the back of the car underneath in the wheel well where they're supposed to be. Then I realized that last year when I was broke and I hadn't paid for my car for a couple months, and they took my car and it got repoed, which I did end up paying the bill and got it back. So let's not make a thing out of it. I had gotten behind because I didn't have any money coming in. And then, so we can't pay it if you don't have it. And so they took it, but then I got a big payment, which I had told them, it's a long story. Anyway, typical bank shit. The money's on the way. They don't believe you. They took the car. Then the money came. I got the car back. But in the process of that, when they take the car, it gets towed, and then it goes to this auction place. In the spot between being towed and then going to the auction place, the people at the tow place wiped my car out. They cleaned out everything in my car that was left behind. And apparently, everything was in my center console, charger, just every weird thing that you have in your center console in your car. Even they took everything, the registration, they took the manual of the car, everything. It's the weirdest fucking shit that they took. And including, they took the jumper cables out of the back of my car. So B1 gets there. Thankfully, when the event ends, she helps me take the stuff out. I load up my car because the people at the hall, they have, I didn't even know if they had an event the next morning. I didn't want to ask because they weren't super friendly, and I didn't know if I'd be able to get back in or whatever. So I rolled the dice, took all the equipment, loaded out, then put it into my car and locked my car, and B1 and I drove home. So that's a gamble, leaving all your thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment in a car. Thankfully, it was in a church parking lot, so I think it was safe where it was at. It was actually tucked in a corner under a tree, so you really couldn't even tell. It was just kind of a random car sitting there. I let them know I was going to be there overnight. So then the next morning, B1 and I would go run to the store. I buy jumper cables, $30 to get jumper cables. We drive back out to the place. When we get there, there's a fucking car. The entire parking lot is empty, except one car parked right next to mine. So, of course, B1 can't pull her car up for me to be able to jump it. So at this point, I have to, and now mind you, I had already mentioned this before, there was a slight decline to be able to roll it into that spot, which meant to get it out of the spot, there's a slight incline. So I had to, it was like back like I was pushing a sled in high school for football, baby. I had to get down low, my quads and my butt and my calves. I used every single muscle I had in my core to my toes. And to every muscle I had in my body, basically, because even my neck was tensed up to try to get this thing from a dead roll, getting it up a hill, and I managed to do it. Pretty fucking impressed with myself, actually, that I was able to do it. And not the biggest, heaviest car in the world, but I did get it moving from a dead stop up a little hill, which made me feel pretty good about myself. 46 years old, can still push a fucking car up a hill. Pretty cool. So did that. We got the car jumped. It was without problem. It jumped. Actually, it took a second to charge it up. First time I tried, it didn't turn over. We let it sit for a little bit. She revved the engine a little bit, and then bam, the car, it was able to turn over finally. So we'd start driving home, and on the way home, can't make this fucking shit up, guys. I come to an intersection. And I'm kind of familiar with this area, not massively, terribly familiar with it. But there is a right turn lane that, in fact, here, I'll just show you guys. I actually have the intersection pulled up. So if you look at this intersection, it's a big intersection, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lanes wide. And if you're just listening, it's going to be kind of hard to follow. But we got 2 straight lanes. In the middle, we got a left turn lane and then a right turn lane. But now the right turn lane, for some strange reason, there's like a little divider there. You can see, I can't really zoom in on it, but there's a little divider there. So the right turn lane kind of has its own lane going away from the rest of the traffic. Now, it's a right turn, must turn right. It seems like it's no big deal. Now, when you get into this right lane here, and you could see where that black truck was. That's exactly where my car was. Now, when you get in this lane, you are turning right. But you got to look back to the left to look for traffic coming and to keep an eye on the lights. You'll see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 red lights. And you need to see when the light changes. So I was looking there. Okay. Once I did that, I looked. I saw 1, 2, 3, 4 lights. Each one of them with no sign that says no right on red. No right turn on red. So I didn't see any sign. So I said to myself, shit, I can turn right on red here. And so there was no traffic. Easy peasy. Made my right on red. Immediately got pulled over. Immediately after I made the right on red, I look, as I establish myself in the lane and start going, I see on my peripheral vision in my mirror, lights go off. So, I'm immediately getting pulled over. And I'm like, what in the fucking world did I do? What in the fucking world could I possibly have done? I wasn't speeding. I was in a 35. The place I pulled out of, I didn't even have enough time to really even speed up to 35 to get to this light. So there was no way I was speeding. Well, he pulls me over, and first off, I have Darla with me. So she goes berserk because I'm looking out the left side of the window, and Darla's looking out the left side of the window with me. I'm waiting for the cop to come up. And then all of a sudden, he knocked on the passenger side window, which scared the shit out of me. I literally jumped and almost threw Darla at the window. And Darla goes absolutely ape shit crazy, just barking like a maniac. So I get her calmed down. I roll down the fucking window. The cop goes, "Hi, do you realize you ran a red light back there?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" "No, I didn't run a red light. I came to a complete stop and then I made a right on red." And then he says to me, he goes, "Oh, yeah, there's a little no right on red sign that you might have missed." And I went, "Oh, you got to be fucking kidding me." So it turns out, and you guys can tell me if I'm an asshole for this. Now we'll cut back to here's the original shot that I was showing you guys, right? Here's that truck. Here's the right lane. We're all the way, I mean, look how far this right lane goes for you to be able to get over there. And you got to look up to the left to see the lights, right? Makes sense to you. To me, well, apparently I shouldn't have been looking to the left to be looking at the lights, because apparently there was a set of lights over to the right ahead of me that I did not even see. Did not even see that set of headlight or red lights right in the middle right there, because and you'll see right in the middle there, just like he said, there is a little tiny no right on red sign, which I completely missed because I did not even see those two red lights. I completely looked right past them because I was looking back at this light. I was looking to my left. There's this big ass light in the middle here for me to look at. So I was looking at that shit. Nope. Wrong fucking light. There's these lights that I should have been watching and got that. So got myself nailed with a $150 ticket. So that was a lot of fucking fun. Super thrilled to get that the night after you work. That's like, you know, I don't DoorDash a lot, so I don't make a ton of money doing that. But that's like, you know, if you're working full time, that's a a day of DoorDashing or whatever. You know, I only do it a couple days a week for a few hours a day or whatever. So it can, well, I mean, there's times where I do it more. So, I mean, that could be a day or a half a day's work of fucking DoorDashing. It's just blown. It's just gone. So that fucking sucked. I was really fucking bummed out about it. Amanda says, "Dumb, that is new. I grew up in that city, North Olmsted." She said, "My parents even work at that police department too." Well, tell them that they should give people warnings at that stupid light, because they tell you it's got you looking the wrong fucking way. It's really fucking annoying. But the silver lining in it, for a guy like me who, you never know what kind of trouble, I feel like I'm always in trouble, because I was always in trouble with like stupid traffic stuff and cops and stuff like that when I was a kid. So I always freak out if I get pulled over by a cop, because I always just worry there's some kind of thing that I've done wrong that I'm going to get in trouble for. And it made me, so the silver lining was no warrants, nothing weird out for me, nothing like, when I was, like I said, when I was a kid, I was worried about that. Like, I would forget to pay a speeding ticket, or there'd be some expired plate shit that I didn't know about. There's always something. This time, clean bill of health. Just got pulled over, no issues, issued me the fucking citation. And I got to tell you, by the way, this cop, maybe this is something you should have mentioned, Amanda. Young guy, mustache, she asked. Very nice. He was actually a really nice guy. He was very friendly. He was very cool with Darla, the dog barking. He didn't seem to be bothered by that. He was totally cool. Except the one little instance with Darla where he was on that passenger side window and the window was down and I needed to hand him my stuff, and did he want to reach across the dog? And then he was like, "Well, wait a minute. Let me go. I'm going to come around." And he started to walk, and I was like kind of put my hands out like this, and I was like, no, just stay here, because she's going to bark either way. But like, procedurally, it was a really bad move by the cop, the way he handled it. Like, the way he kind of went around the front and then came back. If I was a bad guy, there was ample time for me to grab something. And by the time he came to that window, I would have been already ready for him. You know what I mean? Like, it was that bad. Like, all I had to do was that. Because he walked around to the front of the car, and I was like, I could have just reached down, and he came back totally just nonchalantly. So, and it is the suburb. It was a little suburb I was in, but I don't know, just procedurally, probably not the best way to do it. I'm sure after he did it, he probably was like, God, that was stupid. I could have, like, I'm just trusting this guy. Like, and, I mean, I know I look like a regular old average fucking dude. I don't look like some kind of scumbag. And I was, in the t shirt and hair. My hair was, I just didn't look, I don't look like a scumbag. But anybody could be a crazy nutbag that wants to take out a cop. It just happened in Minnesota. Remember, I talked to on Friday, breaking news, or Thursday, there was breaking news about a shooting of a police officer in Minnesota. And I just kind of speculated, boy, I hope it's not one of those ambush attacks. It turned out to be an ambush attack. This poor police officer who in Minneapolis, who had just, I guess recently, it also ran. This is a crazy story. He ran into a burning building to save a couple and get him out of it. A police officer did. So that was pretty cool. I always give firefighters credit because they run into burning buildings, but apparently some cops do it from time to time. So he got all these commendations for all that and all this shit. And then he got a call to go to, I think it was a 911 call, and the person that he went to go help ended up shooting him and killing him. So it's just a crazy fucking story that guy had to deal with. So again, I don't know what the procedure was in that situation, but I feel like this dude, just the procedure wise, was not the greatest procedure. Amanda says, I'm sorry, they're all RMG fans at that police station, so I'm actually shocked. Well, I don't work for RMG anymore, so they probably didn't feel like there's any reason not to. But no, in the end, like I said, the guy was very pleasant. I couldn't have asked, although thankfully I was in a good mood and tired. It was early and I was tired. I was in a good mood because I got my car to start. But he asked me the question that I hate any cop asking. He asked me where I was coming from. Now, on a bad day, that would have sent me into fucking rage, man. I would have been like, none of your fucking business where I'm coming from. but I was just like, I just came from that church over there. I just had a wedding. I was there the night before. My car was there. All this fucking nerdy ass shit. Just basically kind of kissing ass, using my phone voice and everything. Oh, I did a wedding last night, blah, 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 blah. And then thinking that he might give me a warning. Nope. He gave me a no right on red. So that was really nice. Really fucking pumped about it. But like I said, the silver lining of it was no warrants, no issues. I'll just pay the fine. I won't have to end up in court like this poor guy did. I have this story about this dude who, you may have seen this story from last week. It's about a guy named Corey Harris. I don't remember what city this happened in. This was in Saginaw County in Michigan. Guy named Corey Harris, he had to go to court for driving under a suspended license. He did a Zoom call with the court, and this is how it went down.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Tate for Mr. Harris, who should be present in Zoom.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
Great. You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, up possibly 2 to 4 weeks that the court would allow.
So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. And he didn't have a license.
This face. Oh.
That is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
uh,
I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
oh,
Assistant Public Defender.
So he, so this motherfucker does now. There's an update to this story, but still, first, what kind of fucking idiot would do this? No, like I don't. Again, so here's the update. I'll play this update for you. Actually, here, let me just get into it for you. I'll play it up. There's an update that came in today about it, and I had this the other day. I just ran out of time to get to it. But so here's the update about it.
I was thinking about getting my wife medical help. That's what I was thinking.
Corey Harris said that's why he was behind the wheel earlier this month when he appeared before District Court Judge Cedric Simpson, who knew Harris was appearing on a charge of driving while license suspended.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second.
We spoke to Harris by phone today, and he said the doctor wanted to see his wife for some ongoing medical issues that had worsened, and he didn't think about anything but getting her there.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
Corey Harris was cited for driving while license suspended in Pittsfield Township back in October. He said it was suspended for unpaid child support. Secretary of State records show his license was first suspended for child support back in 2010. But Harris told us he thought his license had been reinstated.
They were supposed to have been lifted it two years ago, but they didn't.
And according to the Saginaw County court records we found, Harris is right. In January 2022, a judge rescinded that suspension on his license. But for some reason, that information never got to the Secretary of State, where even as of today, his license is still listed as suspended.
Oh, my dude got did dirty.
Was going by.
This is a driver.
He got done dirty. So he was supposed to have his license reinstated. They screwed him over. And now here is his response to it. Here we go.
It's very embarrassing. And with the type of ties that I have with the church and the community, it's very embarrassing.
Thursday afternoon, Harris told us he was going to the Secretary of State's office to try to straighten out everything between them and friend of the court once and for all.
Always double check behind these workers, because they will say that they will do something and they don't do it.
So there you go. Advice from Corey Harris, who does seem to resemble, according to Curious George, who, I don't know, is that racist? Is he saying that the black dudes all look alike? I don't know, Curious George, but he's saying that there's a resemblance between Corey Harris and Disaster, and Corey Harris just gave some sound advice. There's another man named Disaster, who he may or may not look like, who does love to give advice, though. He tells you to eat this, and you'll be fine.
Meat, vegetables, water, milk, tea.
So there you go. Got to check in with those workers. Make sure that you are all clean, no violations. That child support shit, they'll get you, man. So yeah, get those superfan donations in, guys. Got to pay that shit. So get those in. You can always do the right through the chat. And if you're not watching live, you can always do it right through the comments as well. Another reason why you're going to need those superfan donations outside of the phones and child support. And now, a huge bill that I had today because I woke up. First off, so today I was going to DoorDash and start early. Wanted to be on the road by 8, which I guess isn't that early, but I wanted to be on the road by 8 because I was doing it around 7, but between 7 and 8, I was literally only getting one delivery, so it wasn't worth my time. So I started at 8. I went and did one delivery. I went to I don't know, I think I did a restaurant delivery first, and then I got another delivery. I went shopping at a store for somebody real quick, couple items. Somebody had some toothache. Had a toothache. I got some Oragel rinse and some little pack of that Oragel stuff. So somebody had a toothache. I dropped that off. it was at an apartment building. So I pulled into like, it was a little round thing in front of it, right? So I pull into the apartment building, put the car in park, turn it off, turn on the hazards, go upstairs, go into this building. Now, for whatever reason, the floors are all labeled 1 through 5, and then there's a P on the top. Now, I just, for some reason, these aren't exactly penthouse type apartments. So I didn't expect that the P on the top was actually like the top floor. I thought it was some sort of like, I don't know, just not a floor. So it was all labeled all weird. The numbers were all weird in this fucking place. So I literally ended up in the elevator going up and down through different floors trying to find this place. So it actually ended up being on the P floor, in the penthouse floor, which is so fucking dumb. Anyway, drop off the stuff, come back downstairs, hop in the car. Fucking thing just completely wiped out. Car dead again. So I did blame it on B1 because she had called me or texted me earlier in the day saying, good morning, I hope your car works for you today. So she jinxed it. So it's all her fault, I have to say. So thank you, B1. So yeah, I got in my car and it didn't start. And I have to tell you, I pretty much, well, it took all of my, you guys know me, I get a little riled up, I get a little angry at times. This is exactly what I did in my car. I closed the door and I did this in my car.
Under attack.
That is Alex Jones. If you guys don't know who that is, that's the InfoWars guy who famously was sued by the Sandy Hook families because he claimed it was all a big hoax. And I believe he owes them millions and millions of dollars. And I didn't think he was even allowed to do this InfoWars stuff anymore. But apparently he said they're coming for him. The feds are coming for him. And that was why he let out that was what here, I'll just play the beginning of it for you guys, actually, so you understand why a little bit more. Well, I don't even understand, to tell you the truth.
We have to stay here. We have to let them shut us down. We have to stand all the way to the end, and we're going to win.
Jones, I think everybody needs a war cry, man. Can you muster a war cry?
It's a big joke.
It's not really, though. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's also inspiring.
My voice will completely go into this, but it's fine. It's my resistance to them. It's a gas transmission. It's a human under attack. We're going to beat these people. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but it's been a hard fight. These people hate our children. Just take more calls. Go ahead. There's the next person.
So thank you, TMZ. He's claiming that InfoWars is trying to be shut down, and that's why he let out his big war cry there. Alex Jones, I wish Mikey was here. I wanted to play that for him because I know I think he loves Alex Jones. Alex Jones. But yeah, that was great. I fucking love that thing. Let's see here. Michael K says, are people really that lazy? They can't get their own fucking food? Actually, no. It's not really a lazy thing, Michael K. In fact, I have found that, of course, there are lazy people. There's the perfect example. There's the food orders I did today. There's during the day when you do it, it's like, when I'm DoorDashing is what I'm talking about. It's, restaurants and stuff. It's businesses. It's people that can't leave. The people that work at nursing homes and hospitals and shit like that. That's like where most of my deliveries are. So these are people who are factories and shit like that can't leave. So they can't leave to get their own food. A lot of them, you know what I mean? They're like a lot of businesses. You don't have enough time to leave where you work, get to a place to get food and get back. So that's why the DoorDash is really helpful, or you can just keep working and get food delivered. So, but of course there are lazy, cheap people, and you're just delivering around the corner to somebody who could go get it themselves. Of course that happens. probably 50% of it. But today in particular, there was somebody who I actually felt like I was helping somebody today. There was a woman who I went grocery shopping for her, and she was real picky. She made a lot of calls telling me to do this and that and whatever, and I stay super friendly on the phone and try to be as accommodating as I can and all that stuff. And then from there, when I got to the house, she warned me and she said, "Look, I have a dog in a cage and I have another dog that's out of the cage. Will you be able to bring the groceries in?" And she said, "I'm in a wheelchair." And I said, "Of course, I'll be happy to do that." So I get to this house, and when I pull in the driveway, I can hear the dogs barking from outside. And I'm talking hoo, 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 like a Browns fan's barking. That's how loud this crazy ass barking is. So I get there. She's already got the front door open. I'm carrying all the bags of groceries, and I go to, and she says, "You can come in and bring them in." And as I start to open it, the first dog tries to run out. So I got to kind of like open the door with one hand, holding the groceries, holding the dog back with my foot. I looked like B1 the other day. If you were listening on Thursday or watching Thursday, it looked like her trying to keep the other dogs in the house when she found that other dog or whatever. But so I finally wedge my way into the house and immediately jump back because I see, even though it's in a cage, the biggest fucking German Shepherd I have ever seen in my life. I mean, this fucking thing, it looked like a bear. And like, I grew up when I was a little kid, my uncle had a German Shepherd. So like my first real experience is like, not real experience, but one of my earliest experience with dogs was with the German Shepherd. And it was big when I was little, but nothing like this thing. I mean, its snout was like this. I swear to God, it was like this long. And its snout was so long, guys, that I could have fit my whole head in its mouth. Like it was massive. I mean, the size of the thing alone was this big. It was fucking huge. And if it had gotten out of this cage, it would have killed me. It would have absolutely fucking killed me. But then, so there's this other little collie running around, like nipping at my heels and nipping at me. And she says, "Oh, you can just put it down right there." And I'm like, no, you tell me where you want me to put it. She's in a fucking wheelchair. She's like barely covered up. And I see there's bags of diapers everywhere. So she's clearly incontinent, and just, her house is really just, it was a mess. And there's only enough room for her wheelchair to get through this little path of between all this stuff. So I was like, the least I could do was go take it to the kitchen, because there's no way she was going to have to do one bag at a time, barely be able to turn her thing around and wheel her way through. So to go back to what I was saying, like, okay, yeah, there are plenty of people who are just lazy. But I have found that I have gone done deliveries for many people who can't go out for themselves. So I feel like I'm performing a helpful service at times. It sounds stupid, but I really do. Like, I finished that delivery and I was like, God, I really helped that person today. That it made me feel good knowing how, because she was like, "I'm gonna give you an extra tip," and all this stuff. And I was like, I said, don't even worry about it. I'm just happy I was able to help you out. It made me feel good helping you out. So she ended up not giving me an extra tip, which was dumb of me to say, but she was so nice. She was like, how can I have just you do my shopping specifically? And I was like, well, I don't think it works that way with the app, but blah, 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 blah. But so it was good to actually help somebody out. It felt very, very good to be there helping somebody out. So, let's see here. I thought I saw, what did I see here? So you guys are going fast here. What did I see? Scott78 says, "Hey, at another dumb show. Just want to say, hey, what's up, bro? How are you, homie?" Where did I see? Oh, Big Emperor says, "Get your shit together. Why a 50-year-old doing DoorDash?" Well, let's see. Because I put all my eggs in one basket for 12 years of my career, and it completely got screwed over at the end of it. And I have really no job skills outside of sales other than that. And I fucking hate doing sales more than anything. I have a successful wedding business, but last year I got behind on money, so I had to use forward payments to try to get that stuff taken care of because I was on single and went from being a 2-income household to a single income household, so it was very different. Everything had to change, and so now I'm being the absolute opposite of what you're suggesting. So somebody who doesn't have their shit together would be somebody who sits around not working. I literally work all day long door dashing. Then I do this. And then I work on the weekends as well. The only reason I had a day off in the last 2 weeks is because my car broke down when the battery died. So I find people who say, why don't you get your shit together? Don't DoorDash or whatever. Number one, I actually looked it up today just to see, say I wanted to go get an IT degree or whatever, just like a 2-year associate's degree. It would be $33,000 if you wanted to go through like that online Purdue Global thing. $33,000 for a 2-year associate's degree. Now, I know it's probably cheaper at Tri-C or something like that, but my point is, I have no job skills outside. I mean, I could go swing a hammer somewhere for $14 an hour and have some asshole telling me what to do, or I can DoorDash and make up to $30 an hour at times and have nobody telling me what to do and listen to music, be out in nice weather, help people who needed help, and that's it. So if you look down on people who help other people and make decent money and enjoy while they're doing it, then yeah, I guess I would say that, yeah, that I will never understand. Like, dude, I'm literally working. Get your shit together and do what? Do what, dude? What should I go do? Explain it to me. I would love to, like, that. Honestly, that's the kind of thing that gets my goat. That pisses me off when people say that, like, because, like, yeah, trust me, I would much rather have a job where, like, the career that I had put all of the work and blood, sweat, and tears into. I would love that, but it didn't pan out. So I do this. And so I don't know, should I get my shit together and move to another state while my kids are in high school and going through formative years and not be there for them? Because it didn't work out really great for my daughter who moved to another country. She's doing great now, or another state. But really sucks because we weren't together. We spent a lot of time apart. So do you want me to do that, to go get some shit radio job for making $12, $13 an hour in another city on the other side of the country? Would that mean my shit's together? Because, was my shit together when I was making $13.85 on a radio show where there were multimillionaires I was surrounded by, but I'm get my shit together? What the fuck does that even mean, dude? What does get your shit together other than work every hour that you're able to work, and that's it? Like, what a fucking dickhead, dipshit, doodlehead, fuckface thing to say. Really annoying. Anyway, so CNC machines, man, I started making $9 an hour and ended up making 28 in 10 years. I had no skills and learned that. That's both of those are less than what I can make at DoorDashing. And there's nobody telling me what to do. I don't have to just stand there in the same spot, pressing buttons, waiting for something to finish, which is monotonous and drives me crazy. This is different all day long, every day. I go to different places, meet different people. It's not the worst job in the world. Can make pretty decent money doing it too. I will say the wear and tear on the car is bad. It's bad for business. It's not a good thing. It's the downside to this job. But my goal is when I get some extra cash, I'm going to buy a little beater car, and I can use that to DoorDash, save my car, not put as many miles on it, do a little beater DoorDash. I might actually buy like a little beater minivan to use for moving my DJ stuff around too, and then DoorDash and that. So again, dude, I appreciate you saying I'm smart. Thank you. Even though I called you a dude head dipshit. So thank you. I didn't read that before I called you a bunch of names. It just gets my goat because, like, I know, thank you for saying I'm smart, because I do feel like I'm smart, but I feel like, even though it isn't, because it's just a job like anybody else has, I feel like DoorDashing I should be doing something better than that. So I guess I appreciate you saying that. I guess I just misunderstood it the way you said get your shit together. I just don't know what else to do. You know, the wedding business is great. I enjoy doing that. I make good money doing that. It's just not enough money to pay for everything. It's child support and bills and all that shit and trying to save for the future and all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't cut it. So maybe that'll change down the road if I get my son out there DJing, if we get a second system when he gets older. He was thinking about doing that. So my daughter is happy with her job, so she decided she doesn't want to do any DJing and stuff. So the family business is just me at this point. I couldn't really expand it unless my other kid decides down the road to get into it. So just doing my best, man. Just grinding. Just fucking grinding like anybody else out there. That's why I kind of feel like, people used to think, I don't know if because you have a cool job that like you're, set after that or whatever. No, you make shit money and then get fired. You have nothing saved, no 401k, nothing. I mean, it's literally because you're scraping by, and then you do what you can after that to get by. So, while I kind of like feel like there's something else maybe out there I could do that's better, I just at this point I have no actual I don't have credentials to get other jobs. I don't have enough schooling to get other jobs outside of something in a factory or a warehouse or something like that. And that's great for people like who can do that. I've done all that. Like, I don't know if you know this about me, dude, but like I have worked probably close to 40 different employers in my time since I started working when I was 13 years old. And I've done everything: restaurants, landscaping, sales, radio. I've done every single different job you can think of. I swear to God, I've done it all. I've swung hammers. The only thing I haven't really done is hardcore construction work. And that's honestly just because I'm afraid of getting hit by a car. So I never fucking got into doing any of that, like paving or any of that kind of stuff. But I've worked in warehouses. I was a riveter. I've done riveter shit. I've done fucking burr removal shit, and I've done so many different jobs, and I don't like any of them. Not that people like their job, but I can't handle those monotonous, repetitive jobs like that. I just can't. And I'm not good at having people tell me what to do, except my wedding couples. Like, I don't mind being told what to do by them, in part because they're willing, based on my experience, to take some suggestion and say, oh, okay, this is why we shouldn't do it the way we're suggesting. Or in the end though, I always kind of like go, oh, it's your funeral. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got this weird ass schedule you want to do and all this weird ass music. Okay, it's my job to make it all flow as best as I can and put all the music together and make it work. But usually I can explain to them a different way to do it and still get all those things in. And usually they will understand and that will work. And that's just based on experience and whatnot. But I don't know, man. It doesn't really work in a lot of other positions for me. So in this one, I just have, I don't like being told what to do by a lot of bosses and a lot of jobs because I find a lot of the rules to be kind of silly and stupid. And I just don't do, like, people. I once said I have oppositional defiance disorder, and then somebody said to me, dumb, only children get that. That's not a thing for adults. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm pretty sure I have that because I really do not do well being told what to do. I fucking hate it. I am a really fucking brat, man. It's fucking unbelievable. Thermal Hermit says, Uber Eats is definitely better than DoorDash. Stick with the 1099 deliveries, but explore your options. No, I do honestly make good money on DoorDash. The thing that I don't know if I could do Uber Eats because I had a while back when I had those city taxes that I got in trouble for that I didn't realize that I didn't pay. I didn't even know they existed, that I was supposed to be paying taxes to the city of Cleveland. And so I got behind on all this, and then I had a warrant out for me that I didn't even know about. I found out on the show, the old show live, which was really probably the straw that broke the camel's back for me because that was fucking, could not believe that they told me that live on the air instead of fucking telling me that off air and giving me a chance to even find out what was going on with it. So that really pissed me off. But anyway, when I signed up for Uber Eats, that showed up on there in my background check that they do, and that like disqualified me for doing it. But for whatever reason, even though I'd already paid it, it just didn't, like, kind of like that guy with the suspended license, it didn't come off. So, but DoorDash was like, yeah, we'll have you. Come on, dude, come do DoorDash. So I did that. So big MMPR says, you just stick with one job and grind it. That has grow opportunity. I did that, dude. That was what I did. That was what I did. I did that. It doesn't work. Like, it made me, I worked blood, sweat, tears, all that for 15 years, grinded it out with being told eventually it will pay off. And then it didn't. So believing in the power of hard work is a very hard thing for me. It really is, because I put in a lot of hard work and it didn't pay off. So I have a hard time looking at my kids and saying stuff like, work hard and it'll pay off, because I don't fucking believe it. But hopefully it'll work out for them, and it seems to work out for other people. But working hard has not seemed to pay off for me. It just hasn't. So. Anyway, Angelina says, I don't know if you've ever addressed this. I apologize if you have, but do you have some sort of ODD? There you go. Yes, I do believe that I probably have some sort of fucking oppositional defiance disorder. But again, not with my couples. Like, I just, in the end, it's their day. So they get whatever the fuck they want. So I don't care. You know what I mean? If you want me to wear a green hat and stand backwards and not looking at anyone, okay, fine. I don't fucking care, as long as I'm getting paid. I don't fucking care. I really don't. Anyway, Amanda says, Dumb, do you do divorce parties? I'm considering it. I'll do any kind of fucking party you want. ClevelandReception.com. I'll do whatever you want. I did see there's a new thing going around for divorce registries. I closed out the news story. I didn't get a chance to actually really look at it, but there's a new thing that people are doing, which is called divorce registries, where when you go through a divorce and you lose all of these different items, it gets like split in half, and one person gets the TV, another person gets the couch, another person gets the Nespresso maker or whatever. Then you run out of, so once you're divorced, you've lost half of your stuff. Well, I guess there's these divorce parties where people put these registries together where you say all the things you need, and people can actually help you replenish all of the things you've lost in your divorce. So, which I find to be absolutely ridiculous. So, let's see here. Irish Ronnie says, bullshit, Dumb. I have that disorder too, and I'm 45 years old. So, Thermal Hermit says they don't care about city taxes. They just check your driving record. No, mine was, they do actual background checks, and I filled the background check. So, Thermal Hermit says I have 2 DUIs and they let me. Ooh, that's weird. So I don't know what happens. I don't know what's going on with that. So, Colt 4T5 says, do you think working hard didn't, quote, pay off for you, unquote, because you cannot handle authority? Possibly. But there haven't always been jobs that it's an authority problem. It's also, the jobs that I just, things that I'm qualified to be able to get jobs for, I have not necessarily liked doing. I really, the only job I ever really liked doing was the show when I was on RMG, and I love doing this. And it was never a problem with authority at the old show. I mean, they had a problem with me, but like, I really, it was a different thing there as far as authority. It was, I did whatever I was told. You know what I mean? And it was just supposed to pay off in the end, and it didn't. So in that case, I would say no. Many other places, like when I had a sales job at a copier place, definitely. If I'd have been able to had better control with being told what to do at that place, I probably would have done better there. I'm decent at sales. I just don't like it. I don't like bothering people. I feel like I bother people when I do it. So I don't do sales. It just sucks. Boring. So anyway, I didn't even get to my story. I didn't even finish the story. So yeah, the battery was dead went to the apartment building. The battery was dead there. So I had to, B1 left her job. Fortunately, I was like 10 minutes up the street from her where she works. That just happened to be a really lucky coincidence. Otherwise, I would have been stuck there. So she came, we jumped the car, and I immediately drove right to the auto store, parts store or whatever. I got a new battery, $200 some for a new battery. So that was really fun to have to pay for that today. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, paying for things, I want to give a shout out to Scott78 for a super fan donation. Thanks, dude. So yeah, she came, she jumped the car. I went and got the new battery, $200 down the drain. But I did find the new battery, and I read about this, and this new battery, it was like my car felt like it was brand new. I had so much more pop and pep in my car. I don't know if it was the spark plugs are firing better because there's a new battery in there, or if there's less work on the alternator because there's a new battery in there. But I tell you what, my car, it felt like it had 20 more horsepower. I mean, it was crazy. It was nuts. So, all right, it's already almost 8:30. Let's take a quick break. I need to get another beer and I need to take a leak. Amanda says, Dumb, I just want to have people over and you can hang out and relax. I'll pay you to play music. Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Dude, hit me up. ClevelandReception.com. Don't send me anything on Instagram because I'll lose it. So just go to my website, ClevelandReception.com. Fill out the contact form there, and I will get back to you and make sure I'm open or all that good stuff. So I am going to take a quick break. I'm going to grab another beer, and we'll be right back on another. Hey, don't leave. Stick around. Take your kids in the other room, or send them out in the garage. Show them how to change battery, because I can't change. I couldn't. I had to have somebody at Advanced Auto Parts, come out and change my battery for me because I have no tools, because my cat pissed all over my tools. So I have no tools, and I'm just a lame dude. I'm a terrible man. I'm a horrible man. Just the least manly man there is. I had some dude change my battery for me in my car. So teach your kids, give them tools, teach them how to change battery. I know how to do it. I just don't have the tools to do it. So the guy did it for me. But yeah, teach your kids how to change a battery. And while they're doing that, get yourself a drink. Second hour is always happy hour here on Another Dumb Show. So get a little drink, a little mokey moke. Be right back. Hang on. back to another Dumb Show. I'm another Dumb Show host. Thank you for joining me. Issue number 213. So glad to have you guys all with me this evening. You know how much I appreciate you guys streaming on my tube at night. Feels so good. Feels so right. All right. Let's see what we got. Oh, look at this little whoppers walking around over here. Look at that puppy. Look at that little puppy. He's a whoppers. Hi, puppy. She's the best girl. Oh, I love that girl. She's the best puppy. She's doing good. She was sick, or not sick last week. She was struggling last week with her, she went on that long walk when we went to Blossom Time in Chagrin, and she hurt her shoulders and her muscles and all that stuff, but now she is back to jumping all over the place, being a good little puppy again. So, awesome stuff. Thermal Hermit, a lot of comments tonight. Appreciate it. Says, I want to pay you to DJ a random funeral of my choosing. I will decide which funeral for you to DJ based on how sad the obituary makes me feel. He said, price will be dependent on how much the closest relative to the dead react to your music. That's pretty good. I'm trying to think what would be a good song to play at somebody's funeral. Like a totally off, like the only song, the first one that like popped into my head was, I mean, it would all depend on, I guess, what the type of death was. Like if they died in a car accident, you play that song from, you know, what's the Leader of the Pack, or motorcycle accident, you play the Leader of the Pack song. That's pretty awful. I don't know, somebody dies in a horrible fryer explosion, you play Chicken Fried over and over again. I don't know. Anyway, there was another comment I saw that made me laugh right when we went to break. It was, I don't know if they're still here. They said they're leaving. Where'd it go? It made me laugh really hard. Yana said, good God, man. No one gives a fuck about B1. She's the reason everyone fucking left. Every time I listen, it's B1 this, B1 that, laters. Was I talking about B1 at all? I think I brought her up to mention that she jumped my car for me. I think that was the extent of which I spoke of her. So, sorry. Next time I'll make up the person that comes to jump my car. I guess I don't really. I don't think I was telling. Did I tell a story about her? Don't think I did. Anyway. All right. So over the weekend I worked on Saturday. Mikey's not here, but Mikey usually tries to get me to watch these UFC events. There was UFC on Saturday that I didn't watch, but I do have a little bit of some video of some incidents that went down at that. Now, I don't have Donald Trump getting a standing ovation there, despite his conviction. He did get a standing ovation, if you guys don't know about this, when he was at the UFC event. Is this two different fights? Hold on, it's like this video I have. So there's a video of there was a exchange at a UFC fight that went down in the stand. So I think Dustin Poirier got choked out. Poirier, how the fuck you say his name? But this went down in the stand. So we're gonna do a little video dump here. I got a bunch of videos I gotta run through here, and then we will get to that. Hang on.
You said you slap me, didn't you, white boy? Come on, white boy. Come slap me, white boy. Come on. You white boys screaming, niggas. Slap me, niggas. Slap me. Stand on business. You white boys screaming, niggas. Slap me. Slap me. Slap me. Slap me. Come on. Come on. Come on. Slap me. Slap me. Slap me. Motherfucker, you say scream out. You're trying to fucking squabble, aren't you?
Now, I got to tell you, when some guy starts slapping the shit out of himself, trying to get you to slap them, that's the moment where you say, sir, would you like me to buy you a beer? Or just immediately turn around and run. Also, if you're a white boy getting called a white boy by another white boy, oh boy, that guy's crazy. You're dealing with a crazy person. I mean, at least it looks like he's a white boy to me. It looks like two white guys. So I'm not exactly sure. Is the guy in the tattoos with the ponytail? because he's all tatted up and stuff, not a white boy anymore. But so here we go.
Sit down, shut up, and watch the fucking fight. I did, and that's what I saw. I told you to sit down and shut up.
Wait, so what happened? So that's the end of the fight? That's it? He knocks himself down 3 flights of steps? Is there another video that I missed or something? Because I thought that this dude got knocked out when I first watched it. I must have just... It's a different angle? No, that's the same view. So that's what happened.
Sit down, shut up, and watch the fucking fight. I did, and that's what I saw. I told you to sit down and shut up.
He knocked himself down the steps. Ooh, that guy did float. I mean, he got a decent shot in. That guy did fall back a little bit. Ooh, did he get a shot in? Did the guy from the top actually get a shot in? Here, let's see here. Can't really tell. Does this guy just get up a second shot? Looks like he just gets a second shot and the other guy doesn't get anything on him. Can't tell if he's coming down with one there. Can't really tell. And boom. No, I think he just knocks himself down the steps twice. Boy, for all that fucking shit talking that big fucking guy did, he didn't fucking do a fucking thing after he got punched. Unless there's more to this video fucking somewhere. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. Because I would have been scared to death. Like that's like I people talk about Dumb thinks he's such a tough guy or such a badass, or people will say Dumb throws out wolf tickets. No, if I saw a guy acting like that, screaming that he's gonna beat my ass and calling me white boy and all crazy tattooed and shit like that, I think I'm probably not gonna fucking fight him. I think I'm probably gonna walk the other way. For sure. All right, see what else? What other videos do I have here? I got a few videos. Like I said, we're gonna rip through these videos. This is at a wedding in Majorca. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Majorca. I don't know where Majorca is. In Spain, actually, I think Majorca is. Anyway, there's a wedding on a beach in Spain, and things get a little out of control at this wedding.
No puedo creer. No puedo creerlo.
Ooh, shot from behind, back of the head.
No puedo creerlo, boludo.
The chicks are even involved in the fight, or I don't know if they're just getting run over by the guys. Just how does this even happen? How does this even happen at a beach wedding? They're supposed to be chill and fun and nice. Everybody's like, it's supposed to be the complete opposite of that shit. So here, what happened with this fight? All right, so British construction boss managed to celebrate his dream Majorcan wedding despite spending 2 nights of his trip in jail after drinks at a luxury beach club descended into an alcohol-fueled punch-up that injured several waiters and a pair of Spanish cops. Okay, so it wasn't actually at the groom. So, actually at the wedding. It must have been in the partying before the wedding that he ended up getting in all this trouble. So he got locked up for a couple days and ended up paying his way to get out of jail to make it to court. So, or make it to the wedding. So, hey, good job, dude. Way to go. Good for you. Nothing like a good wedding brawl. Ooh, I missed that shot. There's an actual still of some guy just getting punched right in the face on the ground. I missed that. Let's find that spot because there's a still of it. Did I zoom in too far and that's why we missed it? There's a guy who just gets bombed right in the face on the ground. Where in the hell is that happening at in this video? Anyway, so there's that. There's this fight on the beach with all these fucking dudes. So that was fun. Like I said, all these weddings, I'm still waiting. I've done hundreds of weddings. Still not one fight at any one of my weddings, thankfully. While it would be fun to watch, I don't think that I would want anything to do with having to deal with the aftermath of a fight or trying to like, because if you like, you got to try to get it back in line to actually like do the rest of the wedding, or does it just end at that point? I mean, I guess if it ends, that's cool. You get to go home and that's the end of the night. But I don't know. It would still suck to have to deal with all that. I wouldn't want to get punched or because I would feel like I'd have to like jump in to try to stop it, even though I know I'm not supposed to. Really, in the end, I need to learn, just take your phone out, Sean. Just take your phone out when stuff like that happens. Checking here. Gabriella says, Dumb, any big plans for the anniversary of the show on Wednesday? I'm gonna be honest with you. I have been so focused on fucking working and schedules with my kids, baseball and everything, that I have not put much thought into what we could do for the anniversary, which is on Wednesday. Thank you for saying that, reminding me. I'm really bad with anniversaries and stuff like that. I really am really like, I don't really do a good job with keeping track of dates and shit like that. Like birthdays, I guess I'm good with because it's my kids and stuff like that. It's obvious, but yeah, no, I'm really bad at remembering stuff like anniversaries that have to do with me or anything like that. All right. I do have a video that does relate to me quite a bit. Where I'll just play this video for you guys and then I'll tell the story here real quick. Oh no, why did the sound come out in slow motion? Son of a bitch. Why does this keep happening? So when I download all these videos, I have to use different online sites to do it. And I keep having to switch online sites for Instagram because they'll just suddenly start doing this. Where they're like, everything's in. I think Instagram is doing something where they find out about these different websites that are like, well, now enabling us to download their reels. And then they do something that fucks with it. I don't know what they do, but it fucks with it all the time. So you're going to just have to deal. The audio really isn't that important, really. It's what's happening in the video. So you see his pants are stuck. He's totally fucked. Now his pants are stuck on there. He's run out of energy. Oh my God, that's too fucking good. I have no idea what the rest of this video is with all these broken wheels or whatever. I don't know what the fuck that has to do with anything, to tell you the truth. What the hell does that have to do with what we were just watching? That's really weird. I don't know. I don't know the rest of the story either way, but I just found this guy fucking stuck on the fence to be one of the funnier things I've ever seen. And the reason I laugh about it, and this has happened pretty close to the exact same thing happening to me. When I was young, I went to a high school or a middle school dance, and where I grew up, there was a McDonald's that was, it wasn't too far of a walk from the school, if you were walking in a straight line. But along that straight line, there was a cemetery that you had to cut through to get to it with this big, huge 6-foot fence. Or not 6 foot, it's like, I don't know, it was like 10 feet. It was huge. Because it was like way up above. You couldn't reach the top of it. So I went to this middle school dance, and I remember this very clearly because I borrowed a shirt from my dad, a button-down shirt from my dad, which made my stepmom very angry because she would hate when I would wear my dad's clothes because I was big and so I would be able to, and they were baggy. It was kind of in to wear big baggy shirts. So my dad loans me this shirt. My stepmom was all mad about it. I go to the dance. The dance ends, and we're all going to go hang out at this McDonald's. So on the way to this McDonald's, I come across this 10-foot fence. And I say to myself, I can climb this fence, no problem. So I climb the fence, I get to the top. Now, when I get to the top of the fence, what I hadn't really planned for was, I guess most fences that I'd thought of in the past, they have a little railing across the top of them. I guess I was used to seeing those from baseball or whatever. They have like a pole across the top of them. Well, this fence had just the little spikes at the top, just cut off short little spikes where all the chain link would come together. And then somebody had snipped it off. So each end was like 2 little sharp points, just like in a row for the chain link. So I get to the top of this thing. I swing my leg over, and as I go to swing my leg over, the shirt I was wearing, my dad's baggy, loose, button-down shirt, catches on this fucking, whatever it's called, this chain link fence, and the shirt just starts to rip. So I stop as I'm going over the fence. So I have no momentum anymore. So if you've ever climbed a fence, you know when you get to the top, you swing your leg, your one leg, and you kind of use your other leg as a kind of backwards momentum to kind of fling yourself over the top of the fence because it's a fence. It hurts to sit on. You can't really sit on a fence. So I'd climbed many fences, never had a problem before, but when this t-shirt ripped, or this shirt started to rip, I stopped my momentum moving forward and kind of like grabbed the railing and like kind of like prop myself on top of this thing. Well, then I managed to sit at that point right on top of the fence. And the fence shit went right up my ass. Not up my asshole. Thankfully, I didn't get raped by this fence, but it went right in my ass crack and ripped my shorts. So I had ripped my dad's shirt from like the thing all the way down. It caught and tore the whole thing. Now I'm just stuck on top of this fence with my friends at the bottom of the fence just pointing and laughing. Ah, ha, 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 you fat ass. And now I'm freaking out because I'm not strong enough because this is when I was real fat. I wasn't strong enough to lift my own body weight off of this fence. So I'm stuck at the top of this fence with the fence up my ass. And really the only thing keeping myself from being raped by this fence is that I'm holding my body weight up with it, like just a little bit, just keeping the pressure off of it so it doesn't completely just, penetrate me. So the shorts are ripped. I'm trying to muster enough strength to push myself up enough to be able to fling my leg because I can't just fling it. Otherwise I'm going to tear my ass apart. So I eventually figure out that I'm actually not sitting directly in the middle of the fence with my ass crack. I'm actually kind of more on my right cheek, and I didn't quite make it all the way across. I'm on the inside of the crack on my right cheek. So I'm kind of like leaning a little bit to the right. So it would actually, in the end, it's going to be probably easier for me to swing the initial leg back over and try to just fall off of the fence, essentially. That was the only way I was getting off of this fence. I was yelling to my friends to help me. They were literally said, dude, we're going to McDonald's, and just left me on the top of this fence by myself for me to figure out how to get down. Great friends. So I managed to, I sit up there for a while to where I finally like calmed down and like am starting to think, how am I going to get off of here? I realize I'm on my right cheek. I could probably fling my leg back the other way. And then I have, I've mustered enough. I've relaxed long enough that I think I can push myself off of this fence in one big blast and then fling my leg back over. So I fucking get up that energy. I do it. But in the middle of pushing myself over, I say to myself, fuck it. Just try to fucking get over the fence. So I try to lift myself and go over the fence. I made a major mistake. The leg doesn't go. I'm still stuck. All my pants and my shorts are still stuck, and I immediately fall right back down onto the fence. This time, no actual anal blast. It didn't get me in the butthole, but it did stab me in my cheek. So I got stabbed in my butt cheek by this fence post. So my shorts would rip to shit. I finally do the same thing. Sit, relax, pull myself together. And I go back to the original plan to fall back off the original way I came on. And it works. I lift myself off. I throw my leg over the original way I came. And I essentially just kind of like fall like that guy did, but not totally upside down. I was able to kind of I landed on all fours somehow. So then when I get down, I'm on all fours. I hit the ground. I look at the fence, and I kind of just push on it and realize that all I had to do the whole time was just push the fence, and I could have slid right underneath it with no big deal. It was all loose and wobbly at the bottom, and I could have just pushed it and slid myself right underneath it. So I butt fucked myself with a fence when I was 12 years old, instead of just going underneath the fence. So thankfully though, I did not end up like this poor guy. This sucks. This would be horrible. Look how you think this guy's on something, that he's not losing his mind? He's got to be on something to like let it get this far, right? I could watch this video 100 times. It's so fucking good. What do you do at that point? What do you do? You're completely fucked. I mean, you were stuck at that point. Somehow you figure out how to get your shoe out of there, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's see. I got a few more videos before we wrap things up here. I don't know what Michael K is saying right there. CYX says, sorry, dumb, but this is funny. Yeah, that was a funny story. I trust me, that's why I told you guys about it, because it was one of the funnier things that happened to me on that stupid fence. It was very embarrassing. Them just laughing at me, calling me fat, and then me I left out the best part. Me showing up. I still went to the McDonald's with the big ripped ass shirt, the ripped ass pants. I had blood on the back of my shorts and everything for where it punctured my ass. And I just sat down like nothing fucking happened. I was a weird dude like that. Just because I wanted to, like, just like when I sat in that mud puddle after I shit myself, I just pretended like nothing happened. I sprained my ankle. Oh, there I was just like, oh no, I caught my shirt on the thing. No big deal. And everybody's like, bro, you were stuck up there for like a half hour. I don't know if I made that clear. I was on top of that fence for probably a half an hour. It was pretty bad. It was embarrassing. This next video kind of looks like what I looked like when I fell off the fence. When I landed and did the big belly flop. This is kind of what it looked like.
Has never swept stage 1 and stage 2 on a road course and won in the Xfinity Series. Problems for the 2 of Jesse Love.
You got to give that guy credit that just jumped right on the hood, never even thought about it.
So this is at a NASCAR race. I think this past weekend, the car, you can see the car pulls in. There was in some sort of front end collision where the hood got all pushed up and was blocking the view of the windshield. And so, how do you fix that? Well, you can't hammer the whole thing because it's going to just, put little dents in it. So what do you do? Hey, fat fuck, jump on it. Yeah.
Problems for the 2 of Jesse Love.
You got to give that guy credit that just jumped right on the hood, never even thought about it.
That's great. I did see a really funny thing, or hear a funny thing. I turned on the NASCAR race on Sunday. I think it was in Madison or something. I don't even know. Or no, was it Detroit? Was it Detroit? No, that was the IndyCar race. I don't care. Who gives a shit? I'm listening to the NASCAR race, and there's a crash, and one of the cars gets all jacked up. And the guy that's announcing it goes, that car is Fugazi. And I went, as I heard him say it, I went, what? And then the other announcer even went, what? And the guy went, it's Fugazi, that car. It's beyond repair. It's Fugazi. And then I realized that the guy was trying to say FUBAR, but he's like fucked up beyond all recognition. He was trying to say that car is FUBAR, but he kept saying Fugazi, which is like a fake something like Donnie Brasco. It's a Fugazi or whatever. But so yeah, I thought that was pretty fucking funny that the guy, and even the announcer afterwards, like was just like, okay, whatever. So, pretty crazy. Let's see, what else do I have here before we wrap things up tonight? Oh, Pat McAfee. I love Pat McAfee, but he is a guy that works on ESPN. He talks about sports a lot. Right now, the new big thing is women's college the WNBA, which is very strange to me because even though Caitlin Clark is in the WNBA now, it's still women's basketball. And if you're a woman, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be sound sexist, but women's basketball compared to men's basketball is virtually unwatchable. Now, if you grew up, now on the other hand, like going back to soccer, I love watching women's soccer because I grew up watching women's soccer. In high school, our women's soccer team would win state. I think they won 3 out of 4 years or something crazy like that. So they were doing bicycle kicks and shit like that on our team. It was crazy. So so I like girls soccer. I can watch girls soccer just as well as I can watch men's soccer, even though men's soccer is, at a much higher level. Women's basketball, on the other hand, is, I got to tell you, when I tried to watch the Caitlin Clark in the finals against Angel Reese, just some bad fundamentals. I mean, just really bad. And I don't know if that's like all WNBA or women's basketball, but the games I was watching were bad. A lot of bad passing, a lot of weird. The way girls shoot basketballs even just looks a little odd. So I'm just having a hard time with women's basketball, even though it's the new thing with Caitlin Clark. But there's been a lot of drama surrounding Caitlin Clark. She is the all-time leading scorer in NCAA women's basketball history. So a prolific basketball player. Essentially the best player of all time in women's basketball. If you're the all-time greatest scorer, one could argue you're the greatest women's basketball player of all time. Hard to debate that. You might say that there's people who've added more or won more or whatever, but, you're the leading scorer of all time. You're one of the greatest women's basketball players of all time, especially NCAA. So when you get to, now she's in the NBA, WNBA, and she's just getting the shit kicked out of her, Caitlin Clark is. She's getting beat up. There's been all kinds of back and forth about, I'm just gonna say it straight up. All the black girls hate that the white girls getting all the attention. That's just all there is to it. All these black girls have been playing in the WNBA for the past however many years, and nobody gave a fuck about the WNBA until Caitlin Clark, a little white girl from Iowa, came along, and now all of a sudden everybody gives a fuck about the WNBA. The ratings are completely different. I think the ratings are up like 700% or something since Caitlin Clark came along. Caitlin Clark, here's a video of something that happened to Caitlin Clark. She got There's a hard foul on her in this by a girl named Kennedy Carter. Boom. So you watch in the bottom right. Jesus Christ. So it's not even, totally not even a basketball play. It's got nothing to do with what's happening in the play. Like, what the fuck does that have to do with basketball at all? So that's the kind of shit that she's been dealing with. There was another hard foul from her by that girl Angel Reese from LSU, who she battled with, was her college rival. But ever since Caitlin Clark has been in the WNBA, she has been a target by a lot of the more aggressive players in the league, and those aggressive players happen to be African American Black women, and they are not happy about all the attention that she's getting. And I actually saw a woman on ESPN talking about this today. Do I have that? Did I pull it? I did pull that. So here it's a little bit longer, but it shows, this woman talks about the lack of WNBA coverage of the by ESPN and people like Stephen A. Smith. So here, hold on, let me see how long this is, because I don't want to play the whole thing. I want to kind of just play where she starts going off. It's 2 minutes. All right, so I'm going to kind of pick up. Fuck it, let's just play it.
We're talking about them maximizing their great potential. And because we bring that up and talk about what potentially might get in their way, which we do to men all the time, now we got to sit up here and watch every syllable. I resent that, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, so let me, I know we got to go to break. Welcome to the world of being a woman, Stephen A., and how you have to dance about your word choice and you have to please everybody and anybody as you navigate your being. We are talking about the world's greatest
How about being a black man?
Being black. Hold on 1 second. Have you... So this is what I'm saying to y'all, though, and I know we got to go to break, and we didn't necessarily go there, and maybe we should. There are so many layers in this conversation around the way that it's being discussed. When you no. And yes, Shannon, I know y'all are gonna say and Stephen A., I know you just shared that you have talked about the WNBA on your program too. You guys may not have said everybody, but the prevailing sentiment for folks that are just joining the WNBA and following women's sports is unfair to the women of this league, to your point, who have laid the groundwork for Caitlin Clark to come in and now take it to the next level. That's all I'm saying in these conversations. Kennedy Carter's behavior is not indicative of the entire league. We are still...
it's Kennedy, C-H. It's not Kennedy. It's Kennedy. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Carter's behavior is not indicative of the entire league. We are still talking about competition where you are allowed to get a little extra elbow in if you are competing and you do it within the parameters of the game. The game is physical. Caitlin is helping to grow the league. These women understand that, but she cannot be babied as a rookie. That's all I'm at.
All right.
Okay. So that's ridiculous. If anybody who's been following this whole thing at all, if you've had your eye and even remotely, and I am a casual observer of this whole thing. I've only been watching it since Caitlin Clark, she was in that championship against Angel Reese. They made a whole big thing out of it. It was very entertaining watching those two battle in the NCAA finals, the women's finals. And then which was kind of weird, they went from the finals and then they're in the WNBA within like 3 months. It was kind of weird how quickly that happened. So since she's been in the league, she's gotten all the attention. The league has actually started getting charter planes. She gets paid more than all the people that are in the league. And all the women in the league who've been there for a while and I think I have other, like I don't know where they're at right now, but I have other videos that I pulled like a couple weeks ago, because this has been going on for a while, of all these black women having a problem with all the attention that Caitlin Clark is getting. And it is ridiculous. You guys are all in the same sport. And that girl has brought 7 times the ratings, what you guys were getting last year. And you're complaining about it? Why? Because you weren't getting that attention before? Fuck you, you fucking crybabies. I mean, it's seriously like the biggest load of horse shit in the world. It's such reverse racism. And I hate to be like, well, if you put the shoe on the other foot. Well, but in this case, you really kind of have to, because it's really quite clearly reverse racism. I mean, racism's racism, but, in this case, this is a bunch of black women unhappy about a white girl coming in and getting, white woman, I guess she would be too, being upset about her getting all the attention, even though they've been in it for years and been getting all the attention. Well, nobody gave a fuck about you guys. Sorry. Nobody cared about you guys because you're not the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history. If she was black, people would still be like, oh my God, she's the greatest scorer in NBA history, and it would be a big deal, and it would be all over the fucking NBA, and maybe the WNBA would have grown because this is a once-in-a-generation type player. Instead, it's no, they beat the shit out of her on the court, and I get it. You got to beat rough rookies up and shit like that, but this girl's been getting beat up. If you've been watching any of these games, there's been at least 3 incidents I can think of where she's just gotten the shit kicked out of her. And they were non-basketball. Well, one of them was a basketball player. The other 2 were totally questionable. So, and I'm just sitting here trying to protect this poor little white girl. No, it's just, honestly, it's the hypocrisy of the whole thing. To sit there and pretend like the only reason that, well, they're not outright saying it. I mean, but it's quite clear. In that girl that like knocked her over and threw her on the ground, refused to even answer questions about it after the game. And her coach backed her up. The girl goes, I refuse to answer questions about Caitlin. I'm not answering no questions about Caitlin Kennedy or Clark, whatever the fuck her name is. And so, and then the reporter, good for the reporter, kept pressing. And the coach ended up having to be like, that's enough. That's enough. So, I mean, even just to that point, like where you got to have your coach come to your defense. You can't answer a question because you're a punk and you act like a punk. And then you can't handle the pressure answering the question to where your coach has to answer the question for you. That's enough. That's enough. It's just some pussy ass shit. So I do kind of feel bad for Caitlin Clark. And not for the girls that are fucking out there whining about her. It's ridiculous. That's a Johnny Fan. Great comment here. Let's see how these girls feel in 5 years when they're getting 7 times contract offers because of this little white girl, Caitlin Clark. Let's see all the outrage from them then. I wholeheartedly agree with you. That's why I'm saying, and I hate playing that, what if it was the other way around? But it's true. Like if the girl was black, I don't think we'd be having the same conversation. And I think we would be having the same conversation about how talented that she is and how she's bringing new fans to the WNBA because it's about the talent. It has nothing to do with the fact that she's a white girl that fucking can shoot baskets. She's just a girl who's good at shooting baskets and was the greatest at doing it of all time. Like, why is this such a hard, like, sorry, a white girl was better than black girls in basketball. Sorry. I mean, what the fuck? It's seriously like such a bratty little catty thing. Like, oh, wait, this little white girl comes in and plays. Well, Pat McAfee, the guy that I brought this, that kind of bringing it back around to what I started with, he commented on this. And it's kind of funny how he mentioned, well, he's got to play it cool as far as, he doesn't really get into the controversy too much about, like, the black versus the white part of it, but you can't help it. But then he says something really strange in this commentary about the WNBA.
The GOAT. Is she what? I don't know. I just, with my eyes, I couldn't see if she's Caucasian or not. So I think what we're trying to say is what the WNBA currently has is what we like to describe as a cash cow. There is a superstar. And we're not saying that the players on the court need to act any differently. That's the athletes are going to do what athletes are going to do in any sport. And I think we're all learning that WNBA, that's old school football, baby. That is old school football. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar. And is it because she stayed in Iowa, put an entire state on her back, took a program from...
So there you go. In case you missed it, I'll play it one more time for you.
Continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar. And is it because she stayed in Iowa, put an entire state on her back, took a program from nothing to a multiple year success story? Is it because she would go on to break the entire points records in the history of the NCAA, not just the women's record by Kelsey Plum, shout out,
all right,
but also
I can only take so much of him at this point. I used to really like that show, but I kind of got burnt out on it. I don't know what happened, but I kind of got burnt out on that show. Anyway, so he obviously had to come out and apologize for what he said. I believe that was actually just from this afternoon. His commentary about Caitlin Clark obviously got a bunch of pushback because he called a woman a bitch. Can't really do that anymore. He says, I shouldn't have used white bitch as a descriptor of Caitlin Clark, no matter the context, even if we're talking about race being a reason for some of the stuff happening. I have way too much respect for her and women to put that into the universe. My intentions when saying it were complimentary, just like the entire segment, but a lot of folks are saying that it certainly wasn't at all. That's 100% on me, and for that, I apologize. I have sent an apology to Caitlin as well. Everything else I said, still all facts, and then journalism, whatever. That's what they say on their show. So, yeah, he'd come out and apologize for that. I don't really even understand the context exactly what he meant when he was saying that. I really don't like. What happened? Where's this?
She stayed in Iowa, put an entire state on her back to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar. And is it because...
I wish I could see Darius Butler's face when he says that. I want to zoom in and see what the one black guy there looks like when he says that, if he gives a shit, if he makes a face or something. I just want to see that because... the other two aren't going to say anything because those guys just kiss his ass.
That's old school football, baby. That is old school football. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is a superstar.
He just giggled a little bit. All right. So Pat McAfee apologized for that. Again, I don't really understand the context of why he called her one white bitch. It's kind of a weird way to put it. I'm not really sure what he was. So here, Irish Ronnie says, "Oh no, Pat called her a white bitch. I wonder what would have happened if he said black bitch. Oh, he would be off air tomorrow." Disaster says, "Yeah, white men cannot call white women white bitches. He's about to be canceled." It'd be interesting to see if he's on the air tomorrow. You can't refer. How do you refer to a professional female athlete as a bitch? And I know he's doing it in like a kind of street term. This white bitch, like, kind of street slang, kind of like almost like complimentary. This white bitch, you know what I mean? Like in a good way, if that makes sense. But it certainly didn't come out that way. MJM says, white bitch is what that chick called her before she threw the shoulder check. Now, I don't know if that's a joke or if that's the truth or whatever, but then that actually makes it pretty funny. Johnny Fence says, sounds like Pat McAfee has an issue with people saying that it's the rookie class in general that's causing an uproar in the sport instead of actually giving credit to the individual because she's white. Oh, okay. Well, I know there's several. Well, there's a couple other white girls, I think, in the rookie class, and then I'm sure plenty of other black girls. But I think there's that Cameron Brink girl, some Paige Bucker or something. So there's like 3 white girls who are, and they're not. Caitlin Clark, not really. She looks like my sister, so whatever. But the 2 white girls aren't bad looking. The other white girls, Paige and Cameron, not bad looking girls. They kind of both look similar a little bit, but I think that's part of the problem is, they're marketable. And like this Kennedy girl that did the shoulder check or whatever, she's the lowest paid player on her team. She's been in trouble for aggressive play multiple times. You're never going to be the face of the league, honey. I'm sorry. That's not it. You know what I mean? Like the NBA has Draymond Green. He's not the face of the league. He's one of the most prominent, well-known players, but he got kicked out for like 30 games or some shit this year. But I'm still getting deals for Kia commercials forever, so I don't fucking know. So I find the whole thing to be blatantly, obviously racist. What is happening to Caitlin Clark and the way she's been treated since she got there, and the way all the girls, not all of them, but many of the girls have been, many of the black girls have been reacting to her being in the league. It's been crazy. It's been pretty crazy. I'm surprised. You know, I don't know if other people are saying this is as straightforward as I am. I think they probably dance around and tiptoe around it a little bit on these shows or whatever, but I think it's quite clear. And I understand the jealousy, but it's unfounded because want to be jealous of a player being better than you. That's great, but don't be jealous because they're better than you and they're a different skin color than you. That's fucking like that. It just seems like, I mean, I think we can argue that for the most part, usually black people are better at playing basketball than white people. For the most part, I think everybody would universally agree with that. You watch a basketball game, mostly black dudes, but occasionally you get one white person who's pretty good at playing basketball. Like you get your Larry Birds. You know, I'm sure there's other white guys that play basketball that are, oh yeah, what's Jokic or whatever and stuff. So, but you don't hear the rest of the dudes in the league. Although maybe that's because this league's new. I don't know. Maybe was it like that when Larry Bird came around, but there were so many white dudes when the actual NBA started. There wasn't really this kind of, I don't know, maybe, I wonder if it went the other way around. Like Wilt Chamberlain or other black dudes came along and started pushing all of the white dudes out of the game. Was it the same kind of pushback, just in a different way? But that doesn't make it okay either way, even if that did happen. It's not okay. It's just not okay. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I think that's probably going to wrap things up and see if I have any other videos to end with. Oh, no. Some good news, though. I have another story we'll save for tomorrow, some other videos. But some good news. If you guys are fans of American Gladiators, it looks like American Gladiators is set to return to the arena. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. They picked up a reboot of American Gladiators with a nationwide search now underway for contestants to take on the professional gladiators in a custom-built arena. Hell yeah. It's going to include brand new challenges as well as some classics from the original like Gauntlet, hell yeah, Hang Tough, yes, and The Eliminator, hell yeah, good stuff. So I love American Gladiators. This is one of my favorite shows in the world when I was a kid. And I always laugh because my dad always told me he wanted to try out for American Gladiators, and it was just, you know, it would be like me trying out for it at this point in time. You know what I mean? It'd just be crazy. You just imagine me going up against Gemini. I'd just get murdered. I'd just get bent in half and broken. And that's what my dad wanted to do. It's crazy. Alrighty, guys. Wow, we went really long today. So thank you to all you guys who stuck around for the whole show. I really appreciate it. I think that's going to wrap things up for us tonight. I think we'll probably be back live tomorrow. My son's game is, he does not have a game tomorrow. So we are good to go for tomorrow. So I will see you guys tomorrow at 7. I hope you guys had a great night. Thank you to everybody who, if you're not already hit the thumbs up on tonight's video, please take a second and hit the thumbs up. If you're not watching live and you're just catching up, or you're watching, tomorrow or whatever, don't forget, you can always comment on the show. I'll read back your comments. You can also get your super fan donations in through the comments. Help support the show. Another Dumb Show needs everybody's support. I know it's probably different. A lot of you guys might have people who are fans of me probably have come over from radio, so you're not used to somebody being like, get your donations in, help support the show. But that's how YouTube works. You know what I mean? We don't really make as much. That's where we make our money here on YouTube. Otherwise it's just a hobby. And doing it nightly can't be a hobby kind of thing. So need the support of all of you guys. Make sure you get your super fan donations in. Make sure you are a member. If you're not already a member, go to the Another Dumb Show homepage, youtube.com/AnotherDumbShow. Click the join button and you can become a member there. There's 3 different tier levels, everything from $1.99 a month to $9.99 a month. So if you can hang out and support the show for $2 a month, I would greatly appreciate that. So do that, and we'll be running strong as long as we can. And I'll be back live running strong with a nice, strong car battery. My car just kicking ass right now. Feeling good about my car and its power. All right, guys, I'm out of here. See ya.